Hey guys, so while I'm patiently waiting for the next season of Rick and Morty, I'm giving you a peek at some Rick and Morty fan theories. This show is a wild ride, and fans have come up with some mind blowing theories that dive deep into the show's lore, characters, and hidden meanings. Let's jump into the first one. The first theory I have for you is that the entire show is a commentary on Rick's mental health. According to fans, Rick and Morty isn't just a chaotic sci fi comedy, it's a metaphor for Rick's struggle with mental health, particularly depression and substance abuse. Fans believe that the show's wild adventures and dark humor reflect Rick's inner turmoil and his way of coping with his own demons. Let's break it down. Rick Sanchez is one of the most complex characters in modern animation. On the surface, he's a genius scientist who can travel across dimensions, build incredible gadgets, and outsmart almost anyone. But beneath that bravado, there's a deeply troubled man. Rick's nihilistic outlook on life, his self destructive behavior, and his constant drinking are all signs of someone struggling with mental health issues. Take his catchphrase, for example. In the episode Rick's Minutes, Rick reveals that his famous line, Woba Lubba Dub Dub, actually means, I am in great pain, please help me, in his native language. This is a huge clue that Rick's humor and antics are a mask for his pain. He uses his intelligence and sarcasm to deflect from his emotional struggles, but the cracks in his facade are always there. Then there's Rick's relationship with his family. Despite his claims that he doesn't care about anyone, Rick repeatedly goes out of his way to protect Morty and the rest of the Smith family. In the episode The Rickshank Redemption, Rick tearfully confesses that the reason he moved in with Beth and her family was to be closer to her. This moment of vulnerability shows that, deep down, Rick does care. He's just too damaged to express it in a healthy way. The show also explores themes of existentialism, which ties into Rick's mental health. Rick's awareness of the multiverse and the infinite possibilities of existence has left him feeling insignificant and detached. In the episode Autoerotic Assimilation, we see Rick attempt suicide after a failed relationship, a moment that starkly contrasts with the show's usual comedic tone. This scene is a raw and unflinching look at Rick's depression, and it's one of the reasons fans believe the show is a commentary on mental health. Even the chaotic nature of the show itself can be seen as a reflection of Rick's mind. The constant jumping between dimensions, the absurd sci fi scenarios, and the rapid fire humor all mirror the chaos of someone struggling with mental health issues. Rick's adventures are a way for him to escape his pain, but they also highlight his inability to find peace or meaning in his life. So, what does this all mean? It means that Rick and Morty is more than just a show about crazy sci fi adventures. It's a deep and often heartbreaking exploration of mental health. Rick's struggles with depression, substance abuse, and existential dread are central to his character, and they add a layer of depth to the show that resonates with fans on a personal level. This theory also ties into the larger themes of the series. At its core, Rick and Morty is a show about the human condition, and Rick's mental health struggles are a reflection of the challenges many people face in real life. The show's dark humor and absurd scenarios are a way to explore these heavy topics in a way that's both entertaining and thought provoking. In conclusion, the theory that Rick and Morty is a commentary on Rick's mental health isn't just a fan interpretation. It's a reflection of the show's deeper themes and ideas. It shows us that even the smartest person in the universe can struggle with their own mind, and that sometimes the biggest battles are the ones we fight within ourselves. Alright, let's move on to the second theory, and this one's a real mind bender. Fans have speculated that Rick's bottle gun isn't just a piece of advanced technology, it's sentient. That's right, the bottle gun might have its own agenda, manipulating Rick and Morty's adventures for a hidden purpose. Let's dive into why this theory exists and whether it holds up. First, let's talk about the bottle gun itself. It's one of the most iconic gadgets in the show, allowing Rick to travel to any dimension he wants with just a pull of the trigger. But here's the thing. Have you ever noticed how the bottle gun sometimes seems to have a mind of its own? In episodes like Rick Potion number 9, the gun creates portals to seemingly random dimensions, leading to chaotic and unpredictable outcomes. This has led fans to wonder, is the portal gun just a tool or is it something more? Now, let's look at the evidence. In the episode Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind, we see that the bottle gun is central to the citadel of Rick's operations. The fact that the citadel has strict regulations around bottle gun usage suggests that the device is more powerful and potentially more dangerous than it appears. If the bottle gun was just a simple tool, why would the Citadel go to such lengths to control it? And then there's the episode, The Rickshank Redemption, where Rick uses the bottle gun to outsmart the Galactic Federation. The way Rick manipulates the gun's settings and exploits its capabilities hints at a deeper understanding of its functions. But what if it's not just Rick controlling the gun? What if the gun is also controlling him, subtly guiding his actions to serve its own agenda? Let's get visual. In many episodes, the portal gun is portrayed as almost an extension of Rick himself. He's rarely seen without it, and it's often the key to his survival. But there are moments when the gun seems to act independently, like in Morty Night Run, where it creates a portal to a seemingly random dimension to save Morty and Fart. This raises the question, is the portal gun just following Rick's commands, or is it making decisions on its own? So, what does this all mean? It means that the portal gun might be more than just a piece of technology. It could be a sentient being with its own goals and motivations. This adds a layer of complexity to the show, suggesting that even Rick, the smartest man in the universe, might not be fully in control of his own adventures. This theory also ties into the larger themes of Rick and Morty. At its core, the show is about the unpredictability of existence and the limits of human, or in this case, Rick's, control. The idea that the portal gun is sentient reinforces this theme, showing us that even the most advanced technology can have a will of its own. In conclusion, the theory that Rick's portal gun is sentient isn't just a fun twist, it's a reflection of the show's deeper themes and ideas. It shows us that in a multiverse full of infinite possibilities, even the tools we rely on can have their own agendas. And for Rick, that means his greatest invention might also be his greatest mystery. Alright, let's keep the momentum going and dive into the third theory. And this one's a real head scratcher. Fans have speculated that Rick is actually Morty's future self. That's right. What if Rick isn't just Morty's grandfather, but an older, more jaded version of Morty from the future. Let's unpack this wild idea and see if there's any evidence to back it up. First, let's talk about the dynamic between Rick and Morty. On the surface, they seem like polar opposites. Rick is a cynical, alcoholic genius, while Morty is a naive, often anxious teenager. But what if these differences are just the result of Morty's transformation over time? Fans have pointed out that Morty's experiences with Rick could slowly harden him, turning him into the bitter, nihilistic person Rick is today. Now, let's look at the evidence. In the episode, The Ricks Must Be Crazy, we see Rick's car battery powered by a microverse inhabited by tiny beings. One of those beings, Zeep Sunflop, creates his own miniverse, effectively becoming a Rick to his own Morty. This nested hierarchy of creators and creations mirrors the idea that Rick could be a future version of Morty, having ascended to a higher level of existence. And then there's the episode's Edge of Morty, Rick Die Rick Beat, where Morty experiences multiple timelines and sees versions of himself that are eerily similar to Rick. In one timeline, Morty becomes a cold, calculating leader, showing that he has the potential to develop traits similar to Rick's. This suggests that Morty's journey could eventually lead him down the same path as Rick. Let's get visual. In the episode A Rickle in Time, Rick and Morty freeze time and create multiple timelines, leading to a chaotic and fragmented reality. This episode highlights the idea that time and identity are fluid in the Rick and Morty universe, making it plausible that Morty could eventually become Rick. The show's frequent use of time travel and alternate realities further supports this theory. So, what does this all mean? It means that Rick and Morty might not just be grandfather and grandson, they could be the same person at different stages of life. This theory adds a layer of tragedy to their relationship, suggesting that Morty's adventures with Rick are ultimately leading him down a path of self-destruction. This theory also ties into the larger themes of the series. At its core, Rick and Morty is a show about the consequences of our actions and the inevitability of change. The idea that Morty could become Rick reinforces this theme, showing us that even the most innocent among us can be corrupted by time and experience. In conclusion, the theory that Rick is Morty's future self isn't just a wild fan idea. It's a reflection of the show's deeper themes and ideas. It shows us that in a multiverse full of infinite possibilities, even our own identities are fluid and subject to change. And for Morty, that means his future might be closer to Rick's than he'd like to admit. Alright, let's jump into the fourth theory, and this one's a real trip. Fans have speculated that the Smith family's adventures are part of a simulation created by Rick. That's right. What if everything we've seen in Rick and Morty is just a virtual reality crafted by Rick to test scenarios, cope with his loneliness, or even escape his own reality? Let's break this one down and see if it holds water. First, let's talk about Rick's character. He's a genius who's built everything from microverses to sentient butter robots. If anyone could create a hyper-realistic simulation, it's Rick. Fans have pointed out that Rick's constant need for stimulation and his fear of boredom could drive him to create a simulated world where he can control every variable. It's like his own personal sandbox where he can play God without consequences. Now let's look at the evidence. In the episode Morty Night Run. We see a simulation within a simulation when Morty plays the arcade game. Roy, a life well lived. The game is so immersive that Morty lives an entire lifetime in just a few minutes. This episode directly explores the concept of simulated realities, and it's not the only time the show does this. In Total Recall, the family's memories are manipulated by alien parasites, blurring the line between reality and fiction. These episodes suggest that the show is no stranger to the idea of fabricated realities. And then there's Rick's nihilistic outlook. He's constantly talking about how nothing matters and how existence is meaningless. If Rick truly believes that, why wouldn't he create a simulation where he can escape the monotony of his own life? It's the ultimate form of escapism, and it fits perfectly with Rick's character. Let's get visual. In the episode The Rickshank Redemption, Rick hacks into the Galactic Federation's simulation of him, turning their own technology against them. This scene shows just how skilled Rick is at manipulating virtual realities, further supporting the idea that he could have created a simulation of his own life. The show's frequent use of meta-humor and self-awareness also plays into this theory, as it constantly reminds us that we're watching a fictional story. So, what does this all mean? It means that the Smith family's adventures might not be real. They could just be part of a massive simulation created by Rick. This theory adds a layer of existential dread to the show, suggesting that even the most chaotic and absurd moments are just part of Rick's grand experiment. This theory also ties into the larger themes of Rick and Morty. At its core, the show is about the search for meaning in a meaningless universe. The idea that the Smith family's lives are a simulation reinforces this theme, showing us that even the most seemingly real experiences can be fabrications. It's a commentary on the nature of reality and our place within it. In conclusion, the theory that the Smith family is living in a simulation isn't just a wild fan idea, it's a reflection of the show's deeper themes and ideas. It shows us that in a multiverse full of infinite possibilities, even our own reality might not be what it seems. And for Rick, that means his greatest creation might be the world he's built for himself. So, while I keep waiting for the next season of Rick and Morty, I want to hear from you guys. What show should I watch next? And which of these theories do you find most likely to be true? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Until next time, stay curious and keep theorizing.